The real battlefield is within. If you've ever sat in front of a trading screen, eyes locked on flickering candles, heart racing with every tick, you already know that trading isn't just about charts or indicators. It's about you. Mark Douglas begins trading in the zone by dismantling the biggest myth in trading: that success is mostly about strategy, information, or analysis. It's not. Those things help, but they're not what separates consistent winners from everyone else. What really makes the difference is psychology, your beliefs, your emotions, your relationship with uncertainty. Most traders think they're fighting the market, but Douglas gently shows that the real battle happens inside the trader's own mind, between fear and confidence, between discipline and impulse, between the need to control and the willingness to accept. He paints a picture we all recognize: the trader who wins big one day and loses it all the next. The one who swears they'll follow their rules until they don't. The one who analyzes endlessly but still hesitates when it's time to click buy. The market, Douglas says, is a mirror. It reflects your beliefs and emotions back at you with brutal honesty. If you're fearful, it will show you fear. If you're overconfident, it will humble you. The only way to win consistently is to stop fighting yourself. And so begins the journey from chaos to clarity, from trying to predict the market to flowing with it, from reacting emotionally to acting with calm certainty. Chapter 1: The Road to Consistency. Douglas starts with a truth that every trader learns the hard way. Success isn't about one big win. It's about consistency. But emotional consistency is rare. Most traders, he says, go through an emotional roller coaster. They start with hope and excitement. After a few wins, confidence turns into overconfidence. Then comes a loss, and suddenly, fear and self-doubt take over. The cycle repeats endlessly. It's not that they lack intelligence. It's that they lack emotional balance. Douglas calls the goal becoming a consistent winner. And this doesn't mean never losing. It means thinking and acting in a way that produces steady, predictable results over time. Imagine a trader named Raj. He studied every technical setup. When the chart looks perfect, he enters confidently. But one bad trade shakes him. He swears he'll wait for a better setup next time. Yet when the next opportunity comes, fear whispers, what if it fails again? He hesitates, the trade runs without him, and frustration builds. Raj's problem isn't the market. It's that he hasn't learned to trust himself or accept uncertainty. Douglas explains that consistency doesn't come from controlling the market. It comes from controlling your responses. A consistent trader doesn't react emotionally to wins or losses. They see each trade as one event in a series, part of a larger game of probabilities. To reach that mindset, a trader must go through a psychological transformation, from chasing certainty to embracing unpredictability with confidence. Chapter 2: The Lure and Danger of Analysis. At some point, every trader becomes obsessed with analysis. You believe if you just learn enough, one more indicator, one more pattern, you'll finally eliminate uncertainty. Douglas warns that this is an illusion. The lure of analysis creates a false sense of control. You can't predict the market with perfect accuracy because the market is made of people, each acting on their own beliefs, emotions, and randomness. The truth? No matter how deep your analysis goes, the outcome of any single trade is uncertain. So why do traders keep overanalyzing? Because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. The human mind craves safety and control. When you're afraid of losing, you try to outthink the fear, but that only makes it stronger. Douglas's insight here is almost philosophical. Certainty doesn't exist in trading. Only probabilities do. He invites traders to let go of the illusion of control. Analysis is useful, but only when paired with the right mindset, one that accepts uncertainty without fear. Think of it like driving through fog. You can't see far ahead, but you trust your process, the road, your headlights, your steady speed. You don't need to see everything, just enough to keep moving. Chapter 3: Taking Responsibility. Here lies one of the most liberating and confronting truths of the book. You are responsible for everything that happens to you in the market. At first, this sounds harsh, but Douglas explains it with compassion. Taking full responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for every loss. It means recognizing that your experiences reflect your mindset. When you blame the market, the broker, the news, or manipulation, you give away your power. But when you take responsibility, you reclaim control, not over the market, but over yourself. Many traders live in quiet conflict. Their ego wants to be right. So when the market proves them wrong, they feel attacked. They can't admit mistakes easily because that would threaten their identity. Douglas teaches that true mastery comes when you let go of ego. You no longer need to be right. You just need to follow your plan. It's a surrender, but not a weak one. It's the surrender of illusion. Once you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, peace begins to replace fear. It's like learning to surf. You can't control the waves, but you can control how you ride them. Chapter 4, Consistency, a State of Mind. Consistency, Douglas says, is not something you do. It's something you become. It's a state of mind built on confidence, detachment, and belief alignment. If your beliefs about the market clash with the reality of how it works, you'll always be in emotional conflict. For instance, if deep down you believe trading should be easy or that you deserve to win because you worked hard, the market will constantly frustrate you. Douglas describes consistency as a mental space where you act without hesitation, fear, or hope. You simply follow your plan because you've accepted that anything can happen, and that's okay. Imagine a trader, Maya, who used to overreact to every tick. After internalizing Douglas's teachings, she begins to view each trade as one of 1,000. She stops taking results personally. Her peace doesn't depend on any single outcome. That's consistency. It's not about eliminating emotion. It's about detaching from the need for any particular result. In life, too, we find freedom when we stop clinging to outcomes. Chapter 5, The Dynamics of Perception. This chapter dives deep into the human mind. Douglas explains that we don't see the market as it is. We see it as we are. Our beliefs, experiences, and biases shape how we interpret information. Two traders can look at the same chart and see completely different stories. One sees opportunity, the other sees danger. Why? Because perception is filtered through emotion. If you were burned by a sudden reversal last week, your subconscious will make you fearful of entering a similar setup. Even if the probability is high, your mind protects you from pain by distorting reality. Douglas helps us see that awareness is the first step to freedom. When you recognize that your perceptions aren't facts, you begin to question them. He encourages traders to approach the market with curiosity instead of judgment. This idea extends far beyond trading. In relationships, in work, in life, we often react not to what is, but to what we believe it means. Freedom comes from seeing clearly, from realizing that perception is not truth. Chapter 6, The Market's Perspective. The market, Douglas reminds us, is neutral. It doesn't care who you are, how much you know, or how many times you've lost. It's like the ocean, vast, indifferent, and unpredictable. It responds to collective behavior, not individual emotion. Yet most traders take losses personally. They feel rejected, betrayed, or unlucky. But the market has no intention. It simply is. Douglas teaches that once you accept the market's neutrality, you stop reacting emotionally. You stop expecting fairness or reward. You start seeing price movement as pure information, not judgment. When you reach that emotional neutrality, trading becomes peaceful. You no longer swing between euphoria and despair. You see the flow, not the fight. It's a kind of spiritual detachment, like meditation in motion. Chapter 7, The Trader's Edge. Now Douglas introduces the cornerstone of his philosophy, probability thinking. Every edge, every setup, system, or pattern only gives you a statistical advantage, not a guarantee. Most traders know this intellectually, but they don't believe it emotionally. When a trade loses, they feel betrayed, as if the edge failed. But an edge never fails. It simply plays out over many trades. The consistent trader sees each trade as one of a long series. Each result is just part of the probability distribution. Think of a casino. The house doesn't know the outcome of any single game, but it knows, over thousands of games, the odds are in its favor. The casino doesn't celebrate every win or panic over every loss. It just runs the game. Douglas wants traders to think like that, calm, detached, statistical. One trader, for example, might lose 5 trades in a row and give up in frustration. Another, thinking probabilistically, sees those losses as part of the natural curve. He keeps trading his plan. Over time, he wins. When you truly accept uncertainty, fear dissolves. Because you no longer expect certainty, you expect probability. Chapter 8. Working with Probabilities. This chapter deepens the lesson. Mastery means accepting losses without pain. Douglas emphasizes that losses are not failures. They are inevitable costs of doing business. Just as a store owner expects some inventory loss, a trader must expect losing trades. The emotional difference between an amateur and a professional is simple. The amateur takes losses personally. The professional accepts them gracefully. When you stop fearing losses, you unlock the ability to trade freely. You no longer need the market to validate you. You simply follow your edge over and over, knowing that your process, not any single outcome, defines your success. Douglas writes with empathy here. He understands that letting go of attachment is hard. It takes time to build trust in your method, in your discipline, in yourself. But when you reach that point, trading becomes peaceful. You don't need excitement or adrenaline anymore. You just execute, calmly, with quiet confidence. Freedom, in trading and in life, begins when you stop needing every result to go your way. Chapter 9. Thinking in the Zone. This final chapter is the heart of the book, the state of pure presence and focus that Douglas calls the zone. When you're in the zone, you act effortlessly. There's no fear, no hesitation, no second-guessing. You're simply aligned. Your beliefs, your confidence, and your actions flow as one. In this state, the trader doesn't force trades. They allow them. They don't chase outcomes. They trust probabilities. Douglas compares it to the mindset of elite athletes or artists. When a basketball player enters flow, they don't consciously think about every move. Their training, intuition, and confidence merge into seamless execution. In trading, being in the zone feels like that. Calm alertness, emotional neutrality, total trust. It's not a mystical state. It's the natural result of aligning your beliefs with reality. When you've accepted uncertainty, when you no longer fear loss, when you trust your edge completely, you enter the zone. And in that space, trading becomes almost spiritual. You're no longer fighting the market or yourself. You're flowing with both. Conclusion: from fear to freedom. By the end of Trading in the Zone, you realize this book isn't just about trading. It's about consciousness, about how we relate to the world, to risk, and to ourselves. Douglas's journey leads us from fear and control toward trust and surrender. From trying to predict outcomes to flowing with probabilities. From ego-driven wins to emotionally balanced mastery. Trading, in his eyes, is a mirror of life. It tests your patience, your beliefs, your ability to stay calm when everything feels uncertain. The transformation he teaches is deeply human. From needing to be right to being open. From reacting to responding. From control to acceptance. When a trader reaches that mindset, they find peace, not just in the market, but in themselves. Douglas's wisdom echoes far beyond charts and price movements. It whispers a truth that applies to all of us. The secret to trading and to life is not controlling outcomes, but mastering your mind. In the end, trading in the zone isn't about making money. It's about becoming the kind of person who no longer needs to fear losing it. That's the real wealth, the quiet confidence of knowing that whatever happens, you can stay calm, centered, and free.